Hello, my friend. This is Clyde. Do not settle for less. We're looking at a text that comes from 1 Samuel 1:10 and 11. In her deep anguish, Hannah prayed to the Lord, weeping bitterly. And she made a vow, saying, Lord Almighty, if you will only look on your servant's misery and remember me, and not forget your servant, but give her a son, then I will give him to the Lord for all the days of his life, and no razor will ever be used on his head. You, my friend, should never settle for less than what you want. You know what you want and why you want it, and you are facing great odds in getting it, but do not settle for less than what you want. Meet Hannah, the second of two wives of Elkanah. The other woman, Peninnah, had sons and daughters while Hannah was infertile. Hannah had to share her husband, and as if that were not enough, she could not have children while her rival was pumping out baby after baby after baby. You would think that woman to woman, Peninnah would be sympathetic and sensitive to Hannah, but quite the opposite. The Bible said that Hannah's rival would provoke her to tears because she was infertile. Infertility is a cruel experience. It robs its victims of the privilege to participate in the greatest human enterprise, that of reproducing and adding to the population. Infertility is shameful and painful, and that was Hannah's story. This woman of faith was living with a terrible and painful reality. The Lord had closed up her womb. What does this feel like? Hannah feels cheated. Cheated when she meets her schoolmates in the supermarket with their babies in strollers and she has none. Cheated when Mother's Day celebration comes around and she can't be celebrated as a mother, and so she stays away because her womb is shut up. But she desperately wants to have a child. Infertility is the thing that makes you cannot reproduce. Yours could be infertility or any other horrible situation that you have no control over and you cannot make sense of it. You could be Hannah, fighting a battle for something that has eluded you, begging God to grant you the desires of your heart, and your heart is so broken. The agony Hannah feels when others are around her, Peninnah and others who are having children and she cannot, that agony is unbearable. The pain of infertility is unbearable, and that is because you are ashamed and you keep trying and hoping that this month it would happen, but it hasn't happened. But Hannah is relentless. She does not keep silent. She cries when her rival teases her about not having a child. She prays about it because when your troubles seem bigger than you pray, and not just a pretty prayer. Hannah was in the house of worship where she wept bitterly while she prayed. She could not care who sees her tears because she needs a visit from God. Hannah was desperate to have a child, and she was not going to give up on her dream. She refused to let infertility win. She must have a child. Like Hannah, you may have a huge and shameful problem. This woman was tired of hiding behind the dark curtains so that no one would see her pain, but now she's out in the open, praying through her tears and grief. I cannot tell you to do that, but her crying in public was because she refused to settle for nothing. I don't have to tell you what to do, but that problem that you're struggling with may need for you to stop being private about your pain and take it to the house of the Lord. Go to the God who can do the impossible. God is familiar with your problem, but we need to take the problem back to God and ask Him to fix it. Can we just look closely at the text? Hannah made a vow to God. Now remember, a vow is something binding, and I believe that Hannah was so serious that she made a vow-type promise to God. If you bless me with a son, I will give him back to you. What? Why would she do that? God does not need another baby to take care of. But Hannah was desperate. She knows what she's doing. Give me one son, God, and I will give him back to you. A boy who will grow up to be one of the greatest prophets in Israel. You would hope that Hannah knows what she's doing for sure, because God is going to see if she will keep her word. And where is Elkanah in all of this? You know that there comes a time that the thing you're dealing with, you have to stand alone. Folks who know that this is a desperate desire of yours, they can empathize, they can offer to help you work through the waiting period, but you alone know what you feel, and even when others cannot help, you just have to keep on praying. So you need to be alone when you are pouring out your heart to God. Elkanah can do so much and no more. That is when you turn away from the world and you give the problem to God. We're famous for making vows, but we're not always mindful of the vows that we make. Hannah wanted one child, except she's offering him to the Lord even before she conceived. Her plan for his life is that he will serve the Lord for all of his life. Hannah went home, and this time she got pregnant. The Lord remembered Hannah and brought her request to her. It was called Samuel, and his mother kept her word. She made a huge sacrifice, but she knew she was making the right decision. She did not pray for children. She prayed for a son, and God gave her more than she had ever asked or thought of. In total, Hannah had 3 children, 3 boys and 2 girls. Imagine God not only blessed Hannah with the son she desired, but she later had other children. What a multiplication of blessing. What a multiplied answer to her prayers. God would not settle for less than what Hannah asked for. He gave her overflow. That's an awesome God indeed. You should not settle for less. Keep trusting God for the answer to your problem. Send us an email to friendofclyde@gmail.com if you wish to share your big problem so we can pray with you.